Okay, welcome to lesson 22 of numbers and operations. Add and subtract fractions. Now we're getting into fractions, and there'll be a lot of lessons dealing with fractions. So take your time, buckle up, and let's get to our objective. Some rules and some notes for you. And our first example, 5/16 plus 5/8. So after dealing with our integers, we know that negative 5 over 16 plus negative 5 over 8. What I'm going to tell you to do is just line them up vertically, and then we got two negatives. Our answer is going to be negative, but we cannot add or subtract fractions with different bottoms. And that's why I went through the previous 6 lessons dealing with lowest common denominator and lowest common multiple and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to have to convert both of these denominators, and we'll pick this up on the next slide. Okay, so 5/16 and 5/8 are both negative. Same signs add. And since they're both negative, we know it's going to be negative. All right, so running through our 8s, we got 8 and 16. And 16, we have 16. So 16 is our lowest common denominator. So what do? We don't need to do anything with 5/16. We're just going to bring that over as 5 over 16. Now with 5/8, we had to convert this. So what we're going to actually do here is multiply by 2 over 2. And we know we can multiply a fraction and we will get an equivalent fraction of 10 over 16. Now that they both have the same bottom, both of these fractions have the same bottom, we can add. And so the bottom will stay the same when you add and subtract fractions, but the tops change. Since they're both negative, we know to add. So 5 plus 10 gives us 15. So the answer is negative 15/16. So 5/16 plus negative 5/8 gives us 15/16. And since we can't simplify the fraction, it's already simplified. There's no common factor to 15 and 16. This is done. This is all we can do with this. Okay, for our next example, we have 7/10 plus negative 4/5. And if you don't remember why I am doing what I am doing, please go back and watch the integer videos where I talked about if there's no sign in front of a number, put a positive in front of it and just line them up. And same signs add and different signs subtract. So I'll answer it on the next slide. 7 over 10 and negative 4/5. We're going to combine these two fractions. Okay, 5 and 10. We get 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 1 is 10. Our common denominator, our least common multiple is 10. 7/10 goes right over. You're going to have to multiply by 2 to get 5 to go to 10. And you have to multiply the same number top and bottom to have an equivalent fraction. So now, you have different signs, positive 7, negative 8. Same signs add, different signs subtract. So we're actually going to be subtracting, and negative 8 or 8 minus 7 is 1. Take the sign of the larger number, and the bottom stays the same. When you add and subtract fractions, the bottom stays the same. Okay, so that was the end of our 2 examples. We will have many more examples because there are many videos on adding fractions and subtracting fractions. So do not worry that there were only 2 examples. Get to the practice problems, and I will see you at the end of the video. Okay, so here we have negative 2/10 plus 11/20. These fractions have different bottoms. The bottoms must be the same. And if you look at 10 and 20, what's common? 20. So if we multiply by 2 over 2, we get negative 4 over 20 plus 11 over 20. Same signs add, different signs subtract. So we're going to subtract. 11 minus 4 becomes 7 over 20. 7 is a prime number, so there's nothing to simplify, and we're done. Our final example. Negative 3/4. Now look, be careful. There are 2 negatives with nothing in between them. 2 negatives become a positive. Plus 4 over 15, 4/15. So what you're going to have to do is run through your 15s. This is a shortcut for finding fractions, for finding lowest common multiples. Look at the multiples of your larger number. Does 4 go into 15 evenly with no remainder? No. The closest number to 15 and 4s is 12 and 16. So 15 times 2 is 30. Does that work? Does 4 go into 30 evenly? No. You get 28 and 32. Go to the next number, 45. Does 4 go into 45 evenly? No. The closest number are 44 and 48. So let's go to the next number, 60. Does 4 go into 60 evenly? Yes. How do we know that? 15 times 1, 15 times 2, 15 times 3, 15 times 4. So we know that 60 will be the lowest common denominator. And so how do we get to 60? Well, we're going to multiply by 4 over 4. And how do I know that? 15 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 gets us to 60. And we're going to have to multiply 4 by 15 over 15. And this may look confusing, but you're treating each fraction separately. The 15 over 15 goes with the 3/4, and the 4 over 4 goes with the 4/15. So Our new numbers are 3 times 15 is 45. 4 times 15 is 60. Negative plus 4 times 4 is 16 over 60. Same signs add and different signs subtract. We have different signs. So 45 minus 16 is 30 is 29 over 60. 29 is a prime number. There's nothing to simplify here. And we are done. Oh, I forgot one thing. Look at our sign. The 45 is the bigger number. It has a negative. The negative comes down. So our actual answer is negative 29 over 60. So that concludes our first lesson on adding and subtracting fractions. Get some practice under your belt. If you don't understand it, I will have more videos adding and subtracting fractions. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notifications for videos being added, and I will try to help you with all of your algebra.